Hello. Welcome back. Hi Fusion77, you're already here, hi. I've had an idea and I want to try it out. I like this thought of having different brightness levels for rooms, for dungeon rooms. By the way, I now have back and forth working fine for different rooms. Down and up isn't quite working yet, but I have been tidying up the code and stuff. Yeah, see, I just crashed by trying to walk through the invisible door down here. There's no down door texture yet, but anyway, I like the idea of having rooms that are like different lightness levels, like dimmer or brighter, and more importantly, giving Lola a torch she can collect somewhere in the dungeon, which allows her to see inside pitch black rooms. So after I've been working on this, I was working on this this thing here, which is sort of a shading by distance triangle generator thing that I did, which I tweeted about earlier, and I like the idea of having that sort of shading by distance idea for lighting in this game. So if we fill all of these with black squares, but then change the opacity based on the distance to Lola, we should get this kind of circle of light effect, sort of a pixely version of that. So I want to give that a shot and see how it looks. Which we want to draw after everything else, I guess, because it should be drawn on top of all entities so that like mobs and things also look invisible in the dark. Draw entities, process dialogues. So after all that, we want to draw darkness shading, I guess we'll call it for now. Why not take the light item idea on further and have single-use torches that can ignite dark rooms? Like you could place it in a bracket in the room. That could be kind of interesting. So that the room remains lit. I want to see what I would. The way that the thing I just showed you works with color blending is it uses RGB and it basically just mixes the RGB values, but all of the colors for Lola are currently stored in hex, apart from transparent, because hex is like, it's smaller than RGB. You can see this is only what is that, 7 bytes, whereas this is 13. So to mix these colors, I think I'd have to convert them to RGB, then mix them. Because the best way to shade this stuff with coloring would be to effectively have a light color and change the palette per room, so that when the textures are drawn, they take a tint. But I don't know whether we're going to be able to afford to do that. We will see. The other option, obviously, is just to draw a coloured tile with a different opacity over it, but it does mean that you get this kind of washed out effect. So like you couldn't make something really green because it will lose contrast as the green becomes more visible over it. So I'd love to do like orangey, reddy torchlight, but we might not be able to actually do that very well. So we'll give this a try anyway. So down here, where we're working right now. Hey HSG, welcome to the stream. Soft locks and keys. What do you mean, Toffee? I know that things like Pokemon have got caves that you can't really find your way through very easily unless you have Flash. We are down here, and I'm just going to make a note because otherwise we're going to get lost. So I guess what we're going to do is for I equals 0, I is less than 16, I plus plus. I think we are outside any other I loops, because that's always a tricky thing if you use I and you're already using I, but I think we're outside of all loops, so we should be okay. So we'll go, actually let's just call it X. Oh no, I think we might have an X. Oh, I'll just use I. For I, a torch that acts as a soft lock. That means you can still go in, but it is hard. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. For J equals 0. J is less than. This is 16 wide and 15 tall. Less than 15. J++. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw squares at these locations. So I love how the there's actually nothing like being refreshed in this tile, so whenever slimes go in, they change it. We want to start here, which is 16, 16. So we actually want to do I equals 16, j equals 16. If I is less than what's our widths for this again? It's 256 by 240. 256 by 240. Oh, hey Arcaniacs, welcome to the stream. So we want to, if I is less than, what's 256 minus 16? I wish I could just do mental arithmetic like that. 256 minus 16 is 240. And then 240 minus 16 is 224. I think that's going to be slightly wrong anyway because we probably don't want to shade the GUI, but we'll work on it. I streamed a bit earlier today. Oh, okay, cool. What did you stream? Oh, hey, Blue, welcome to the stream. Okay, so we're going to g.draw rectangle. Draw rect. G.fill style equals. Let's just go with the grey for now, and we also want to hang on. I don't think we need to set J to 0 again or anything, do we? It's super effective. 8 viewers are attracted. Refuge plugin dev. That's, okay. What am I doing? Draw a rectangle. IJ. This is not going to work first time. 16, 16. Well, that hasn't done anything at all. I wasn't expecting nothing, I'll say that. I plus equals 16. There's probably a tiny little square over there, isn't it? I j plus equals 16. No. Am I messing? Am I doing something silly here? G.fill style. G.draw rectangle. It's not saying these are inappropriate functions, I don't think. Oh, G.draw rect is not a function. What is it then? If it's, is it fill rect? Yeah, it is. Okay, that was probably the issue then. Oh, look at that. We were pretty damn close. Not bad. Okay, I think we want to do it one less than that. 240, 224 minus 16 equals 208. There we go. So that should shade. We probably actually want to shade the walls as well, come to think of it. Oops. Which would make this just 256 and 240. Oh, but not 240. 224. Which leaves the GUI. Nope. I guess 208 was right then. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we need to add shading based on distance of each rectangle to Lola, and we'll also make it black. Oh, we want RGBA 255 000, which is, oh my god, I can't type, 000, which is black. There's a lot of chat going on. Sorry if I'm missing anything. Chat. Phil wrecked. Grey screen, beautiful game, 11 out of 10, grey box. Yep. And then the RGB will be the distance. We'll make it 0.5 just to test. It should be like a, yeah. So this will be like a darker room. If we make that like 0.1 or something, it should be, oh, 0.8 should be really dark. This could work. Yes. Well, thanks, Blue. I kind of drew the art myself, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Pixel art's not my thing, and I'm really struggling with like an attack animation for Lola. Like, I've got something, but I'm not sure if I like it. So now we just work out the distance to the player. I'm gonna nick this from my delineator code because I have a function. There we go, distance 2. So we're just going to add this function down here. Distance 2. And then we're going to change that into opacity. So opacity is going to equal distance to Lola.x, Lola.y, and then I and j. We'll have to make that I plus 8 and j plus 8, I think, to put it in the middle. Why not add things that can only be seen in the light? Why not add things that can only be seen in the light? Do you mean like in the torchlight? Could be interesting. Hey James, welcome to the stream. So this is going to give us a value that is not good, because this needs to be a value between 0 and 1. So this is going to be like, we want to divide this by like at least 100. Oh my god, look at that! That is so cool! If we wanted it to be less pixely, then we can I love how it just works as well. That was so quick. We can change the size of the, like the brightness of the light by making that a different number. This will be like a less bright light, but you can see the offset now. So what we want to do is we want to do I plus 8, I think, plus 8, because this is the top left corner, and j plus 8 should center it. This is now centered at Lola's feet. I would assume that she's holding it at her head, so does Lola already have a height property? Where are you, Lola? Lola, your height is 10, so we can use Lola.height. Or I guess it would be cheaper, like in characters, to use just put it as 10. I think she's a bit taller than 10, to be honest. That's her like hitbox. So we'll put it at like Lola.y minus 16. Now it's like her ears are giving off the light. It's kind of cool though, right? But yeah, so we can use this like if and then I guess we want like we actually want opacity to be room opacity. We want this to be room opacity, room darkness minus that brightness. So if we set room darkness to be, let's say, 0.8, then you'd be able to see... Oops, that's the wrong way around, I think. interesting. I think we want to do this. No, that's not right. I think it's because the division is being done first. I want this to be not completely black, basically. Hi, no answer. I want to be able to choose the like the ambient light level of the room. Multiply? Really? It's changing the size of the circle, but black is still black. Like, it needs to be... I guess what you could... Oh, you know what? Let's do it like this. We'll just do this, and then the opacity will become math dot max. Math dot max. And then we'll put the room brightness here, which means it'll choose the larger of the two numbers. Room darkness. And then we change this back to 0.8. Oh, I think we want math.min then. There we go. Okay. I don't know why this circle is suddenly so much smaller. I think it's just because we were messing with so many settings. So this way you can have a kind of dimness to the room aside from your light. Now the only thing that I really would like this to be is sort of a more goldeny, yellowy torch color. This is a very pure white, and this is part of the problem with the system we're using here. Hi John Hunter, welcome to the stream. I'm surprised how quickly this has worked though. This is just an idea I had based on that other thing I was working on. I'm using Notepad++, yes. I like it though. If we wanted to make it less pixely, we could double the size of the squares, which would be really easy to fix, to try, to see how it looks. Which would be just I plus equals 8. I plus equals 8. 8. 8. 8. 4. 4. It's smoother. I don't know if I prefer it. Everything else is kind of 16 by 16. Kind of interesting. Kind of cool. You guys like it? First the room equals the circle. Circle is probably smaller because the room matches the brightness of the room early when the room is brighter. Oh, I see. Yeah. I got disconnected from chat. I hope I'm still streaming. Seem to be. Okay. For the light, try a smaller circle. That involves changing this to like a smaller number, basically. And if we make this room darkness 1, then it's black black. So this would be something we could do for, like, say that you're in a room you're not supposed to go into yet, like this one, and you want to just show Lola just about. Let's change this back to 16. Then you could make her have like a really small, slightly bigger than that maybe, circle of light, just so you can kind of, maybe a little bit less than that, just so you can sort of see yourself. Even that's probably a bit too much. And then if you have a torch, then you get a much larger light and you can kind of see see more around yourself. Do people prefer this sort of smaller pixel square? Or did you prefer the sort of the wider grid of 16 wide pixels instead of 8 wide? If only we can tint it now, that'd be really cool. I suppose you could adjust the red based on distance too. Let's try that. What if we did redness equals that, and then put redness. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of a cool, like, ouch, I took damage effect. I'm going to remember that that exists, because that's cool. You can, like, if we increase the size of the circle, you can, like, shade the edges of the screen in red really cheaply. But that's not what I wanted. Distance to Lola. You want it to be reddest at her point. How do I, like... Ugh. Uh-huh. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. Oh. That kind of works, sort of. Obviously, the color of the part of the problem is that the color of the tile is based on the opacity, so it's gonna. How do you make yellow? Yellow is red and what? Red and green? But like a little bit of green, right? I don't actually know how to make yellow. Or maybe it's... No, I just don't know. But I don't think this is quite right. Whether it's the problem that because it's still white right at Lola's head. It's more torchlighted than before, but I think it needs to be a little bit yellower. And it's also creating this like washed out effect that I was worried about around the edges. Compared to this, which is pure white, but looks a little bit better. It's red and green, okay. Let's just try adding a bit of green then. Greenness. I'll just make them the same for the moment and just see how that looks. Okay, we definitely want less green. Okay, yeah. Yeah. 11 out of 10 variable names. I don't know, guys. I feel like we may actually need to blend these with a color palette. The problem is all of the tiles in this game are... all the tiles are drawn once. So, like, all of the different textures in this room are, they're, like, loaded as a... That looks kind of cool. Loaded as a canvas at the start. Which means that if we wanted to do like moving lights, we'd have to redraw every canvas based on its distance, which I think would be very expensive. Like we could definitely like shade an entire room, like change the palette up here and redraw all of the tiles every time you go into a new room. So we could have like green tinted rooms or blue tinted rooms or whatever, but we couldn't like constantly update it every time Lola moves. I think that would be really, really expensive and taxing, because I was originally drawing every texture every time and it just killed the game, which is why I had to load them beforehand and then stamp them. How do you store what the rooms look like? The rooms are stored as part of the the L, I believe. No, is it the S? The S, the stage array. Here it is. So these are all of my test rooms right now. They're all identical except for room 1, which is this one over here, and it has this extra little tile in the middle which is solid. I just wanted to check that you couldn't walk through it. Yeah. Room 1, room 0. So yeah, that's how they're stored, and it's basically the same as how the textures work. So this is texture 1, which is this, drawn 0, drawn once. Then texture 2, drawn D times, which is this. Texture 3, drawn once, which is this. 4, 0, 0, 0 is the next texture kind of thing. Is it flexible for adding your monsters? Monsters are entities and are not handled by this array. It'll be handled by... There's going to be like an entity array for each stage. So this is just the blocks, as it were. In Minecraft, it would be blocks and entities. At the moment, I'm just generating these entities. They exist in every room, whereas later they'll be tied to a room. I've only just added room switching, so that's new. So I like the lighting, but tinting isn't working for us very well, because you have this sort of white light followed by red, followed by darkness that looks a bit strange. But in general, I think it's a cool idea. I definitely want to have these light source options, and I can do the same thing I was doing for the other project, where you can like have multiple light sources and they'll blend their lighting. I think that's quite a cheap calculation, like character-wise. Normally when I say cheap when I'm talking about like efficiency, but in this case efficiency is not the problem, it's character limits, character size. Yeah, I think this might be a shorter stream today, but I just wanted to see if this worked, and it kind of does. So I'm happy, and I might end it soon because I've got a ton of other stuff to do this evening as well. I like that it also shades mobs and walls and things, so you can't see anything until you get close. How do you do Lola's dialogue? Oh, that's a whole system. So first of all, up here we have all of the pixels for every character drawn. So exclamation mark. They're all a 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, like 3 by 5 or something. Every character is defined as a string up here. And then for the text drawing system, I have to, like, there's a say as function I made, which is this, which weirdly, what? Oh, I guess it's using draw text. So there's this whole, I want to show you my example say command. You can actually feed, what am I saying? You can feed multiple lines of text at once to an entity, and they will say them in order and like run through them in order. I just can't find the code for it right now. So here's say as Lola. So this is the entity that should be saying it, which is where the text should appear. Then the text. And then this is how long to display it for. But for some reason the say as function doesn't seem to have anything in it. Entity.dialogues equals texts. Oh, maybe it's up here. So under process dialogues, I have text effects as well, so offset, dialogue, length, text effects, my dialogue. I have slightly forgotten how this works. Like there's a shake and there's a shiver effect, which is kind of cool. Text effects, but I can't remember how they work or where they're defined. I'll have to look at some of my earlier code, I guess, because I think my example say commands are gone. Basically, the say as has various parameters, but I can't remember which order they're in. Anyway, I could make the tiles smaller for a smoother effect. It's not. I don't think it's very expensive to draw because they're just solid pixels. But we are doubling, or we're exponentially increasing the amount of things that need drawing here as we up this. So we could make this for 2, 2. So that would then be smoother. And all of them are individually calculating their distance, so it can be really easily adjusted. I feel like it looks too smooth though, like everything else is very pixely. So I almost liked the original 1616 personally. 16. Although that kind of looks weird to me now. Make it low res but smooth shading. Well, to do smooth shading, I'd have to calculate multiple points per... What do you mean by smooth shading? I think... Maybe it's just because I've been looking at 8 instead of 16 for so long. This might look okay compared to 8, which was this. I think 16 might look best, to be honest. Like the higher res you did. I can't reduce the squares but have more shading points. Low res but smooth shading doesn't really... It's not a thing, unless I'm misunderstanding you. I like the fact that it draws over speech bubbles as well, so if any of these say something... one of them actually says bloop when he first spawns, but I think I can't get to him in time. Actually, the bloop would be a good one to look for, because that's got a say as... Yeah, here we go. So the entity, it's the first slime, says bloop for 1 second. Then 14 is the background color, and 12 is the foreground color, which is a an integer value for the texture list. So if we transferred that to there, she'll have a... She'll do no such thing. Huh. Oh. Nope. One more in. There we go. Now it's taking different colors. And then I assume the next one is the text effect? That's not good. There we go, there's Shiver. For like fear and stuff, you know, scared. And then I think there's Shake as well, which is instead of them sort of shaking at different levels, it's more for surprise. Oh, that's apparently not what it's called. Shiver. I can't see the other one. Did I get rid of Shake? Or did I call it something weird? It was kind of fun for surprise, because you could make the text shake. Wobble. No, it's not called Wobble. Draw text. Text effects. That's so weird. I seem to have lost the shake effect. I wonder if it somehow got overwritten. I've only got Shiver and Shake here. Anyway, I've only got Shiver. There's no code for the other one. It would be here, but I guess it got lost somewhere. I know at one point I had a conflict issue between my two devices, so anyway, that's Shiver and the ability to choose the background and foreground color for my text, which I think is kind of nice. The Mundstachelding. Did I call something that? It rings a bell, but I can't remember what it was referencing. Keep the corners blocky, but have them all blend. Maybe he does mean that. I don't know what that means either, right, Galaxy? I'm in room 0. I guess Shake got lost somewhere. Oh my god, yeah. Mundstachelding. Shiver. Oh, that's because I didn't know what the little spike in the speech bubble was called, so I called it the mouth spike thing. Room 0. Okay. Well, I think that's me done for this stream. I kind of want to... The annoying thing is that this bottom thing is part of the... It's part of the... the GUI, like this line down here. But so I can't shade it. I suppose if I did 8 like I am now, then I could actually just make this... Yeah, now it shades. Well, there will be a good excuse, a good reason to use 8 instead of 16. Do people prefer 8 or 16? I don't know. This one seems kind of smoother. Pure white at least looks cold. Well, I can easily change it later. I'll keep it at 16 for the moment, I guess. Huh. Moved to room 6? Don't think so. Game crashes if I try and go through the bottom door because there's some sort of bug at the moment. Anyway, I think that'll do for today. If you have any suggestions for stuff, do let me know. I like the idea of being able to put torches and brackets to have like a permanent light against one wall. Could be kind of cool. Thanks for watching and for the feedback, and I'll see you later. Oh, you know, one thing I need to do at some point is, you see how these slimes are drawing in front of me? I need to order the entity array by height, by a y coordinate, so that the entities at the bottom of the screen are drawn first and they're drawn up. I have no idea how expensive, actually in this case is a performance question, how expensive reshuffling the entire entity array every frame is going to be, but that's the only way I think we can choose their Z index, basically, so that if I walk in front of a slime like this, my ears appear in front of it. Okay, I'm gonna head off for now. Thanks for watching my short stream, and I'll see you in the next stream. Ciao, guys.